I said it. I told you. If you come at the captain, if you come at the king, you best not miss. What a series. What a game. Shout out to the chat gang. Shout out to Knicks Nation. I see all of you guys. Thank you guys for being part of this post game. That's it. It is a wrap. No game 7. We're not going back to MSG to play another game. Instead, we have closed out the Pistons in 6. I said it as soon as this series started. As much as I wanted Knicks in 5, I knew this Pistons team was going to be good, and it was going to be a physical series. And this series was going to help the Knicks be pushed to another level. Guess what happened? The Knicks close out this series in 6, and they get pushed to another level because of the physicality that they're put through during this game. Now listen, we are going to break down the up and down affair that this game was. Quarter 1, you can crown the Knicks. Quarter 2, you can crown Detroit. Quarter 3, it was like we were living back in reverse time. It was like we were going back to the first quarter again because it looked the exact same. Third quarter, the Knicks win. Fourth quarter, it looks like the Pistons start to win. It's a back and forth affair. I've never seen a lead, an 11-point lead, close and tie in a game in 2 minutes in my entire life. I've just not seen it. But you know what I've always believed in. You know what I always hold near and dear. I always say it, right? Who's the man that you want in there? Who's the man you want in the game when it's on the line and you need a bucket and you need to close out? You need Captain Clutch. But I will give him some credit. Captain Clutch had some help tonight, didn't he? Mikal Bridges. Malik Beasley. Malik. What did you say again? Didn't you laugh and say Mikal Bridges was going to play like 44 minutes? We're going to break down his minutes. But I told you, I said, don't run your mouth. Don't talk trash. Why would you do that? Because that's exactly what Mikal Bridges needs. He needs that little push. Minutes. You said that, right? That's the little push he needed. And he proceeded to have the best game of the postseason for himself on defense and on offense. And guess who had a chance to win the game and tie it, actually, not win the game. Guess who had a chance at the end of the game to tie the game for Detroit? But Butterhands couldn't do it. Who was it again? What was his name? Oh yeah, Malik Beasley. What a choke. Choke. You choked. You can't catch. What happened? I thought you were hot all game. I thought the second quarter was yours. Oh, I'm sorry. You can only show up when the game is not on the line. When the game is on the line, all you can do is choke. You choke artist. Stop talking trash. Stop calling out our players because you can't do anything. Back to the fourth quarter where we succeeded. Game is tied. We're talking 113 to 113. How did it get there? Mikal Bridges, after a Jalen Brunson miss, he goes up, taps it in, game is tied. And then we see it happen. Jalen Brunson, Captain Clutch, a sore Thompson on him. The game is tied here. Remember this. And Jalen Brunson, last time out already burnt, dancing on a sore. And I'm sorry. What happened to his ankles? Oh, he got his ankles taken from him because he slid to the other side of the court. Just enough room and enough time for Captain Clutch to end your life, end your series, end everything for the Pistons. Captain Clutch drops the hammer, drops the basket, and we are talking about a Knicks victory. Remind you guys, at about, what was it, 2 minutes or so to go, the Pistons were leading this game by 7. But you know why you never give up? You never give up because of Captain Clutch and because of this team that has been there before and is experienced. Didn't I say that the advantage of this team is that they've been here before? The Pistons, they never have. Credit to them. They played a tough series, tough game. They took the lead. But when they had the lead, they didn't know what to do with it. They thought they knew what to do with it, but they really didn't know what to do with it. They had too much confidence, too much faith. And we saw what happened. The team with experience understood the game was still on the line, and they took it to that team. They stole this game. We got back into this game, and it didn't go to overtime because Captain Clutch understood the assignment. Win the game, win the series, go back home, rest, because we have the second round coming up, the semifinals coming up, and Boston ahead. And everybody knows we need the rest for that game. But New York does not have to worry about a game 7. We do not have to worry about playing another game. We have closed out the Pistons in 6 games. We are going to break down how it happened, why it happened, and what key areas the Knicks still need to work on and fix before we take on Boston in the next round. We're also going to do the roundup, talking about a number of key aspects that come after the game like we normally do during the streams. If you guys are not subscribed to the channel, it would be the biggest favor you could do to me forever if you could hit that subscribe button and make sure you have notifications on as well too. So that way, anytime we go live, drop a video, do anything on this channel, you're going to get notified. And now, without further ado, let's get started. The Knicks finish the Pistons, win this series, and advance to the East semifinals. Do not count out this team. Keep doubting the Knicks. I heard all of you guys, not all of you guys collectively in this room. I'm talking about the haters. You know who I'm talking about, right? The Piston fans that loaded my comment sections for the last, I don't know, 5-7 days. Where you at? Anybody see the Pistons fans? Oh, you're not here. I'm sorry. I guess you missed my comment section for this video. I don't blame you, because we're about to rain dance all over your team for exactly what they let happen. They had the lead, they let it drop. And before I go to the chat, let's shut this conversation down completely. And when I say completely, I mean completely. Before this series started, there was a little bit of disrespect that went on. Remember? The best player in this series is... We all knew who it was if you were a New York fan, or even if you were a basketball fan, you knew the answer to that question. But many people tried to switch it and act like they didn't know. Anybody wondering who's the best player in this series anymore? Anybody want to take a guess? Because in the fourth quarter, when the game was on the line, I saw our point guard, Jalen Brunson, do what he does best. I saw Cade Cunningham do what Malik Beasley did in that last possession. Choke. Absolutely choke. And that is the star that you got, Detroit. Not saying he won't get better in time. Maybe he will. But for this series, for this game, all they're going to remember is Clutch is always going to be better than Cade. And that is now a fact. If you need evidence, just go back and watch this series. Go back and watch this last game. Go back and watch this fourth quarter. And watch what all-star Jalen Brunson, oh, my apologies, superstar Jalen Brunson did to that Pistons team. Without further ado, let's go to the chat, see what you guys have to say about tonight's game, get your guys' take as well. Jay Sanchez says, Beasley choked big time. My goodness, what a choke job. Can't catch the ball. Gave me Nerlens Noel vibes, but for them. Ja, how do you forget about Brunson? How? It doesn't make sense. Got UPS and Browns in the house. Says OG locked down Cade the last 9 minutes of the game. Incredible. You can see Cade was gassed in the last 9 minutes where he didn't want to take a shot. Go OG, go. Time to see the leprechaun in Boston. Shout out to UPS. I do want to give Mikal Bridges some credit there as well, too. He didn't play a lot of minutes on Cade, but when he did play on Cade, he was playing phenomenal defense. Mikal Bridges, this was his game. We can look at the points. We'll break down the game, and you can look and break down all the things that Brunson did. Clearly, he was the top scorer of this game. But if you're looking at the player that really turned the tide, that helped New York win this game, it is without a doubt Mikal Bridges, without a doubt. Yuri says, nah, I ain't trying to hear all that effing about Boston. Anyone that effing talks Boston tonight is getting the axe. Yuri's not playing that. I appreciate you, Yuri. And PRS is in the house. He says, ban all these haters. You already know what it is. We're not taking no haters in the business tonight. It's all about Knick fans celebrating. I do have a chat to go through. I know I got a live chat that I wanted to go. I missed it when I was doing my rant in the beginning. So Edgar, my guy, let me give you some screen time, my brother. My guy Edgar with the $10 super chat. My guy, shout out to you. Jalen Brunson is the best playoff player currently. Anybody want to say he's wrong? Anybody want to say he's lying? Because right now, I will give some people in Boston a little bit of credit. But what I will say, the Jalen Brunson we're seeing right now is one of the top players in the playoffs, but that's not anything new, is it, Edgar? Because we're always saying this about him. He is the king of New York. He is the king. Yuri. And he gives us a $2 super chat. And he says exactly what I said to open the show. Let me repeat it. The moderator in the house, he says, hey, Troy, come at the king, you best not miss. Too bad for the Pistons because they were missing a lot. They couldn't hit a shot. They really couldn't get it going. They could not play defense when it mattered the most. And they sent their best defender, who they thought, on Jalen Brunson until Jalen showed everybody that just when you think you have him figured out, you really don't have anything figured out, do you? We're going to go back to the chat here, but shout out to you guys, man. I appreciate the fan funding. I always appreciate the super chats. It really does help the content a lot. So thank you guys. Let me just get give me a second to reload the chat here. What's going on? All right. There we go. All right. Got my guy Dovid in the house. Dovid says, yo, Troy, Jalen Brunson dropped Thompson good. Getting Mike Breen's 11th double bang, I believe. Also, that game winner by Brunson kind of reminds me of the MJ crossing up Malone to win the NBA Finals in 98. Oof, my goodness. I don't know if it had that much on it, but what I will say, though, it was an incredible shot. It was the way that Brunson lost him. It was the way he lost the sword, because you got to remember, a sword thought he had him. He was hounded on him, and you got to give him credit. He was playing good defense on him until he wasn't. You see, the thing about Jalen is everybody thinks they have Jalen figured out until they don't have Jalen figured out. And then Jalen dances on them anyways. Jalen has done that to a number of great defenders. Dyson Daniels. Remember him? just when you think you have him figured out. He always changes it up on you. He did it to Asor. He can do it to anybody. You can't figure out Jalen. You cannot figure out the captain. Anytime you think you figured out the captain, he changes it and you don't know anymore. PRS says, like and sub to your boy Troy. Hey, my guy, appreciate you. Thank you so much. With that in mind, let me drink some water so I don't lose my voice here. PRS, choke job. Choked. Couldn't handle the pass. And the crazy part was, everybody saw, right? If he caught the ball, was he not open? Was he not wide open for that three? Had he caught the ball, that loss is on him. This loss tonight is on Malik. Not being able to catch the ball, all the trash talk, and lighting a fire under Mikal. Mikal had this game because of Malik. Believe that. Errol says, hey, Troy, we took their hearts. JB rocked their hearts as well, too. They definitely did. Yeah, we did. Jalen Brunson did. You want to know how Jalen Brunson does it? When you score 8 of the last 11 points for New York, that's how you do it. That's how you activate Captain Clutch mode. And that's what he was doing. One more comment, and then we're going right to the rest of the game. Oron, member, he says, I was about to crash out when the Knicks were down by 7, but I knew Captain Clutch was going to go off. Thanks for the live stream, Troy. Hey, thanks you for joining. Thank you for coming aboard and coming along and giving me some of your time here tonight. I really do appreciate it. It's late. So anybody in the room tonight, I know it. You are diehard Knicks fans. I appreciate you. Edgar, with the chances for Boston, we're going to get to that a little bit later on in the show, but I really do appreciate that. Troy, three away wins. I'm telling you, man, it's insane. It's insane to think about it. I wish we could have closed it at MSG, but I don't mind closing it on the road. And everybody who thought, there's so many people who are doubting the Knicks not in 6. I gave everybody a history lesson right before the game started. Almost a year to this date, it was Knicks versus Philly, game 6, in their house. What did we do? Win, silenced the arena, and went back home to MSG. Went back to the second round. Tonight, we did the exact same thing. That's why I said Knicks in 6, and that's why I was not worried at all. I know when it's late in game, the game is on the line, and we need a bucket. All I gotta do is look at the captain, Captain Clutch, and he is gonna make sure New York gets that bucket. Make sure that possession matters. It's impactful, and it helps us get to the next step, the next level, wherever we need to get. Jalen Brunson made the last 8 of 11 points for New York. The other 3 came from Mikal Bridges and 1 Karl-Anthony Towns free throw. And that was how the Knicks were able to take this game, seal this series, and win this series 4-2. And each and every one of these games was close, including this final one. But close doesn't matter. What matters is the final result. And time again, 4 times to be exact, the final result favored the Knicks, including tonight. New York wins this series and wins this game 116-113. Knicks win this series 4-2. Shout out to Fred Katz of The Athletic for giving us the following information here. Jalen Brunson, 44-7 with the game-winning shot with 4.3 seconds to go. That is Captain Clutch. You win the game with the game tied with a 3-pointer, 4.3 to go. And that is what you do. You make that shot over one of the better defenders in the NBA right now in a sore because you lose him. You want to know how you do that? It's more than just being Captain Clutch. He has ice water running through his veins. You're not shaking up the captain. You're not doing that. I don't care who you are. You're not stopping Brunson once the show is on. And Brunson's show has started the game already active. He was on fire in that first quarter. We're going to get to that, but let's go back to Fred Katz and what he was saying here. As you can see with Bridges, 25, 4, and 3. Anunoby, 22 and 5. Hart, 13, 10, and 4. Cunningham, 23, 7, and 8. But honestly, that doesn't reflect how poor his performance was. It was not the typical Cade Cunningham performance. Probably his worst performance of the entire series. He did not show up tonight for his team. I think we can say that, especially in that fourth. The Knicks now move on to play Boston in the second round. And that is one of the things we're going to talk about a little bit later on in this show. But the Knicks close out, and that's very important to understand. New York advances, as you can see here, and it was a well-deserved advancement. New York was tested. They were pushed. It was a physical series. It was a tough series. But you know what this series did? You know what this series did for New York? And it always happens this way too. Look back over the history books. If a team that wasn't doing as good as they should do in the regular season takes on a very difficult physical team in the first round, it makes them a better team for the later rounds. It makes them tougher, stronger, and yes, more physical. The most physical series in the postseason was this series against the Pistons. And the Knicks were shoved, pushed, everything you can imagine. Boston, they're not doing what the Pistons did. I don't think any team is going to play New York as hard or as physical as the Pistons did. And if this is the physicality, if this is the highest level of physicality the Knicks had to endure this postseason, and it's going to get easier in terms of physicality from this standpoint, then that means New York is going to get even better as the postseason progresses. And that's something to and that's something you have to note. Because going into this postseason, that's what you wanted the Knicks to get. Not only more experience, but to get that chip on their shoulder, to become a better team, a tougher team. This Pistons series made them a better team, made them a more physical team, and made them a tougher team. Now they can utilize all of this in the second round matchup against Boston. And something else we saw tonight, Jalen Brunson, as I said before, and I will continue to repeat. Ladies and gentlemen, Jalen Brunson, playoff Brunson, is operating on a different level, a different tier. He is one of the best postseason performers right now. That is including a list that has LeBron James and Luka on it in terms of postseason scorers. Let that sink in a little bit. You want to know what the captain did tonight? I know you do. I know you want to know what the captain did tonight. Let's go ahead and show you. Jalen Brunson. My goodness. I mean, my goodness. 40 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists. And in terms of what he was doing from the field, 15 of 33. Very, very good. Not as efficient as you would like, but still up there in terms of efficiency. He was making his free throws. And the best part about Brunson is that he didn't force anything until he had to force something. And that is why he is Captain Clutch. He is always adapting in the moment. And that's why nobody can figure him out. When you think you have him figured out, he is figuring you out. he is trying to figure out what you know about him so he can change those aspects and you don't know anything anymore. And who put that there? How did that get there? Huh? Well, what does that say? Oh, this is a post from the New York Post. But this is an old post. What is it? What is it doing here? I don't even recall seeing this post. What does it say? Hold on. Clear my throat here for a second. This is Malik Beasley, who's talking about trolling Mikal Bridges on social media and the Pistons' mindset for Game 6. Oh, this is before the game. Oh, okay. What did he say? Okay. We are the mentally stronger team. Huh? Wait. Yeah, I may have read it wrong. We are the mentally stronger team. Is it me, or if you were mentally tough, if you were mentally strong, when you had a 7-point lead, the few minutes left to go, and you basically had the game, if you just got stops and played a little bit more defense, didn't turn the ball over, actually took good shots, maybe you wouldn't have lost the game. Maybe if Malik Beasley did what he did in the second quarter, in the third or fourth quarter, maybe this game goes a little bit differently. But see, he didn't do that. He arrived and showed up for one quarter, and it was a great quarter. It was fire. It was the Knicks versus him, basically, and he did very well until the Knicks were able to close it all out, end it all, and let everybody know that when it comes to the postseason, experience matters. And when I said we're battle-tested, it was for moments like that, when a battle-tested team is needed to overcome all that negativity, all that doubt, persevere, and make sure we get the lead. We take the lead, and we win this game. And New York was able to do that not only because of Jalen, but because of Wingstop as well, too. We have to give them credit because Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby, they both came to play tonight, especially Mikal, who, in my opinion, had his best game, most consistent game on defense and on offense, attacking. He was aggressive to start the first quarter, and that never stopped. He was making threes. He was aggressive trying to get to the line, attacking. Yes, Mikal Bridges attacking, taking contact, scoring anyways, or at least trying to get into traffic and making another pass for somebody else. It helped because the more aggressive he was, it helped other players on the floor. OG Anunoby, maybe he wasn't as loud in the second half, even though in the second half, I thought he had key buckets. But in that first half, OG Anunoby, demon mode, it was active in that first. He was hitting threes. He was attacking. He was getting to the line. He was getting other players in foul trouble. And the Knicks ball movement in that first quarter, I can't even explain to you. I can't. How beautiful that ball movement was. Finding the cutters, finding the open man. And even though the Knicks were not making their shots in the first, that was the bad news. The good news, generating open shots, generating open threes, drawing 2 or 3 defenders. It looked like the Pistons forgot how to play defense in the first quarter. That's how badly the Knicks were outplaying them. The Knicks scored 37 points in the first quarter. You don't think they had a chip on their shoulder? You don't think they remembered what happened last game? They knew the assignment, including Jalen Brunson. Brunson had more than 15 points in the first quarter because he understood he needs to be on and go off if nobody else is going to get it done. And he was doing that. We're going to go ahead and break down the quarter-to-quarter breakdown so you can see how up and down this game was, because it really was up and down. Sometimes in favor of the Knicks, and in other times, in favor of the Pistons. But let's go ahead and break it down real quick. So we're going to get to OG and Mikal in a little bit, break down exactly what they did and their points. But let's go ahead and first break down the quarter-to-quarter breakdown. As I said initially, the Knicks scored 37 points in the first quarter. And the Pistons, they only scored 23. The Knicks played amazing defense, amazing ball movement. Jalen Brunson on fire. Mikal Bridges, aggressive. OG Anunoby, great two-way play. We didn't see a lot from Karl-Anthony Towns, a little bit from Josh Hart, but our stars came to play. Until you get to the second quarter. Yeah, you're not reading that wrong. The second quarter saw the Knicks have 22 points and the Pistons have 38 points. It was almost an exact flip on his head. I couldn't believe what happened. And the main reason that happened, bad passes, turnovers, missed shots, can't hit anything. Even though some of our shots are wide open, we cannot make a bucket to save our life. And it doesn't matter who's open or who's trying to shoot those shots. Sometimes Brunson had it going, sometimes Karl-Anthony Towns, but honestly, nobody really. Nobody had it going in the second quarter. And the Pistons, they were attacking inside. Things they couldn't do in the first quarter, they were doing in the second quarter. But even more than that, the Knicks could not guard the three at all. New York's three-point defense, horrible. Could not guard the three at all. Allowed Malik Beasley to cook. We allowed Malik to be open on the corner for a three, and he shimmied on us. I don't want to see that man shimmy. He can't even shimmy. I don't want to see him even try to shimmy. It was disgusting. It was nasty. Horrible quarter. If that first quarter was one of their better ones, that second quarter was one of their worst. And then, just because the Knicks want to do this to us, up and down affair, right? You want to know what deja vu feels like? Let me show you. 37-24. What? Oh, yeah. That looks almost identical to the first quarter. How did we do that? By doing the same things we did in the first quarter. Ball movement, open shots, hitting our threes, being aggressive, minimizing our turnovers, having everybody go off a little bit. We had Jalen Brunson do his thing. Mikal Bridges, oh my goodness. He was going off. He was doing his thing. OG Anunoby's trying to be even more aggressive as well, too. Again, though, the biggest part of that is that we were creating shots, open shots, and hitting those shots. Not all the time. It wasn't always pretty, but the importance of making the threes when we have the open shot, when we are open and not hesitating, that was very important. And making sure we were attacking and trying to get to the line, all those things mattered, and it was one of the main reasons the Knicks were able to take this lead. We got to remember, New York, it was only a few-point game. We're coming out of halftime, so New York needed to focus. We needed to make sure we had this game on lock. And honestly, the Pistons would have not been up going into the half if they didn't get that lucky three to go down. But they had a 2-point lead, and after that lead, we proceeded to take over that third quarter. We proceeded to drop 37 points on their head. And then we had the lead going into the fourth. I need a drink of water because I don't even know how I'm going to talk about this next quarter. All good, right? Knicks are up We're great right now. We're holding a very strong lead heading into the fourth quarter. You think everything's going to be great. We avoided the third quarter of doom. Finally, we experienced it in the second quarter, I guess. So we just left it there and we didn't bring it with us to the third quarter. Or so I thought. Because if the first quarter mirrored the third quarter, then that would mean the second quarter would mirror the fourth. And as you look here, it almost did. Almost. Thankfully, it didn't, but it almost did. The Knicks scored 20 points to the Pistons' 28 points. The Knicks had the lead. The Pistons proceeded to go aggressive, attack. Essentially everything they did in the second quarter, they repeated that in the fourth quarter. And the Knicks had no answer, no response. They chipped away, and then they stole the lead. They stole the lead. They took the lead from New York. If that's not bad enough, they go up 7 points, and our big man, our all-star, Karl-Anthony Towns, fouls out. We're down an all-star. We're down a number of points. We now need to tie the game and then win the game. And if you know anybody who's going to do that, it's going to be Jalen. Jalen needed a little bit of, if it was going to be anybody, it was going to be Jalen. But Jalen needed a little bit of help. And he got that help. He got that help from Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges with the tip-in. We tied the game. Captain Clutch, ball in his hands, tie game, ice in his veins, hits the shot. The Knicks go up, and that is the ball game, even though the Pistons have a chance to win this game. Malik Beasley chokes on the final possession. They don't get a shot up. New York steals this game. We win it 116-113. We close out this series. We are going back to MSG to rest, recover, and get ready for the Boston Celtics and not have to worry about a desperate Game 7 against the desperate Detroit Pistons team. We don't have to worry about that. This series is now in the history books and it's in the past. Bye, Detroit. Bye, Piston fans. I'll see you next year if you're lucky enough to get back to the postseason. But until then, we'll see you next time. We're leaving you in the rear view because now we have bigger and better things to worry about. And that bigger obstacle is Boston. We're definitely going to get to that. Don't worry. But we have to go back to some of the heroes of the games. But we have to go back to some of the heroes of the game tonight. You know who I'm talking about. If I covered Jalen already, then I have to cover Wingstop as well, too. So let's go ahead and give them some shine here. Mikal Bridges. Oh, my goodness, man. 25, 4 and 3. 11 of 16 from the field. OG Anunoby, the Demon. 22, 5 and 1. 6 of 14 from the field. Obviously, not as efficient as you would like him to be. You want to see him be a little bit more efficient, but it's okay. He made some of the baskets when we needed him to. His defense on Cade Cunningham was absolutely sensational. You want to talk about Cade being in jail. There's a large reason why Cade couldn't go off during this game, and it's because of the Knicks' help defense, overall defense, and OG Anunoby, and what he was doing to Cade Cunningham. And then on top of that, he gives you 22 points, 5 rebounds, and assist as well. He's hitting threes. He's aggressive. And then you have his other Wingstop buddy give you 25, 4 and 3. 25, 4 and 3. And he's aggressive. If this Mikal Bridges that we saw tonight, if this Mikal shows up in the semis, I wouldn't bet all of your money on Boston. Let me just say that. But I don't want to get to the Boston thing right now. I am saving that for the Roundup. If you want to hear my thoughts about Boston, or you have any other topics you want me to talk about, leave them in the chat. I will write them down. It'll be part of my roundup to end the show for today. But OG Anunoby, I mean, credit to that man. They were saying overpaid. They were saying you gave a lot of money. They were saying injury prone. Are you saying anything now? All you can do is praise him, thank everything that we have him, and he's part of our team now. That is very, very important. And OG Anunoby is looking like he's taking his game to another level, more defensively than offensively. But you know what? I see it. He has another level offensively to go in this postseason. And the scary part is he just put up 22 points and he wasn't really even trying. What happens when he takes that another step? When he takes that next step? When he ascends to the next level? I think we see that Anunoby in the Boston series, because good competition pushes you to be the best version of yourself. And this is the best competition the Knicks are going to get. Knicks against Boston, that is going to be cinema. Pure cinema. But let's go ahead and break down some of these team stats for tonight's game and show you how the Knicks were able to win the game, but also some key areas the Knicks still need to work on. Going back to the team stats here, as you can see, New York and Detroit shot very, very well from the field. 47% for the Knicks, 46% for Detroit. From three-point range, they both shot pretty poorly. 33% for New York, 26% for Detroit. Turnovers, New York had too many turnovers. 17 in comparison to Detroit, 15. And on the boards, New York was able to win. 43-36. It was helpful. Gave them a lot of second chance opportunities they gave them a lot of second chance opportunities that they were able to convert into other extra points. And that was important in a close game like this. We're also going to look at more of these stats as well, too. Like you guys always know, I like to break down the full team stats when I take a look at everything. So let's go ahead and do that before we break down the player minutes and everything that the bench contributed or really didn't contribute. But we'll get to that in a second. Going back here and looking at these team stats, as we see here, the number one thing for me that stands out is the number of assists. Again, should this come as a surprise, I mention the number of assists every single post game, and I'm tired of it. I'm tired. We have to pass the ball more. And you know what? It's crazy. We passed the ball so well in the third, so well in the first, and then in the second and the fourth, it's like we forget how to pass the ball. It's like we don't know how to pass the ball. The assist numbers, again, if you didn't see it, the Knicks 18 team assists and the Pistons 25 team assists. That is not acceptable. We're not going to beat teams passing that way. We're not. It's just not going to happen. If you want to beat Boston, you want to beat teams like that, you need to average 25 assists. We're not even touching that. We're not moving the ball enough. When we do move the ball, how do we look? Like a different team, a better team, an unstoppable team. Then why do we stop? Why do you stop moving the ball if it works? Why do we go heavy ISO sometimes when the ball movement works? We don't always have to attack and be aggressive at the basket if there's an open shot always available and we're hitting it. Smart basketball. Smart. Don't overwork yourself when you don't have to. Play smarter. Pass the ball. Move. Cut. Move on your own. Move yourself. Move without the ball. That's how you get the ball. It's cliche, but it's true. If you move, the ball will find you. The ball gravitates to movement. Move, cut, go anywhere underneath the basket. The ball will find you. It'll be easy buckets. We need more of that. We do. The team assist is a problem. We won this game. I'm happy about it. If you want to see hype recap, just go back and replay the start of the stream. Right now, we're breaking down the team stats. And if I'm breaking down the team stats, I need to break them down. Team assist is a very negative stat tonight for New York. They need to get better with it. Remember, like I say, two things can be true. Call it right down the middle. I'm happy, but I'm also very realistic. Team assist. Got to get better. Another thing that should jump off the page when you look at it is the fast break points. Detroit 24, the New York Knicks 18. You know, they say fast break, but when I hear that, I hear points in transition. When you run after a rebound or after a miss or after a steal or whatever. And the Pistons, they were doing that basically on every possession. Running and running and running. It's not like they exposed the secret, but it did highlight an issue New York needs to work on. Our transition defense. We need to be able to get back and be able to put somebody in front of one of their players. So that way they have to make a decision. Sidestep, take the contact, and then the refs, they have to make a decision. Blocking foul or charging. And I'd rather it be that than allow them to get an easy layup. And sometimes we're allowing that way too often. Fast break points, transition defense. It needs to get better for New York, and that needs to happen fast. We're going to take a look at those team stats yet again. The three-point percentage, again, for me, needs to get better. I don't care that they shot better than Detroit. 33.3% is not going to get it done against Boston. You shoot that against Boston, you're going to lose because they shoot better threes, more open threes, and their threes are going to be dangerous. Excuse me. So the Knicks need to do a better job, not only generating more threes, but generating open threes. Open threes is the biggest part here. So we have to make sure we understand that. So that's basically all the team assists that we have here. We can continue to break down the other percentages, but I think since the series is over and we're not going to see the Pistons again, it really doesn't matter. We're going to do a whole new series with the Boston Celtics, and all those percentages are going to change. But the two main stats that I wanted to focus on were fast break and also assist, because those two things are going to follow you into the next round unless you correct it. Going back over here with the players, Mikal Bridges tonight, he played, well, you know what? Before we go to the minute breakdown and everything like that, I'm going to check in with the chat really quick. Get your comments, and then after that, we're going to go from there. So I'm going to get some chat comments from you guys, and then I'm going to go right back to the minutes breakdown, and then we might close a little. Well, I always say early. I try to make it early, but, you know, when it comes to talking about this team, you break down so much of it, you can kind of get lost at times. I'm going to try to condense the breakdown that I do just a little bit, so that way I can give more time to the chat. Let's see. Jariel says, Shaq sold himself. Brunson reminded him, laughing his you-know-what off. Josh says, Malik Chokeless Beasley. Yeah, he is. He is. Malik Choke Easily. Malik Choke Easily. I like that. The Last Vigil says, I've been a Bridges hater. He had a great game. Eating my words. At least you came back and admitted it, brother. Some people won't do that. At least you did. I appreciate that, my guy. Let's see here. The last, Minnesota Jets fan says, Minnesota Jets fan loves the Knicks. Well, I appreciate you loving the Knicks. Thank you so much. And David gives us a flex, a star, and a basketball emoji, basically indicating that he agrees with everything that went on tonight and what the Knicks were doing. Thank you, chat gang. I appreciate you guys. We're going to jump back in with you guys in a little bit, but let's go back to exactly what we were breaking down before. We talked about the team stats, but let's now go ahead and break down the minutes, what the players were doing, who played and who didn't play. Let's go ahead and do that really quick. All right, there we go. I don't know what happened there, but here we go. Okay, so Mikal Bridges tonight played 44 minutes. Anunoby, 44 minutes. Karl-Anthony Towns, before he fouled out, 37 minutes. Jalen Brunson, 42 minutes. Josh Hart, 35 minutes. Mitchell Robinson, 13 minutes. Playing less minutes again. Cam Payne, 6 minutes. Miles McBride, 17 minutes. Everybody else, they were healthy, but they did not play because they were a DNP coach's decision. The bench. The bench. Now, I'm not going to complain about the starter minutes at all here. The game was on the line. It was close. The bench did not have it going. Whoever we played off the bench had nothing going. They couldn't do anything. The only players you could really play were the starters at this point. So I'm not going to kill Tom Thibodeau for all the minutes the starters played. At this point, given how the game was going, you needed to do that. So I'm going to give Thibs credit for that adjustment. He made an adjustment late in game to put the starters out there and keep the starters out there. And I thought that was a very good adjustment because they had it going and the bench did not. So why not make that adjustment? But then it goes back to what the real issue is here. The bench. We talked about the minutes, right? About the scoring. 1 point from Mitchell Robinson off a free throw. Hack-a-Mitch was full effect, by the way. In the third quarter, we saw Hack-a-Mitch from the Pistons. Cam Payne, 2 points. Miles McBride, 3 points. Totaling 6. 6 bench points. That does not get the job done. 6 bench points. Really? Deuce McBride has been a no-show in this postseason. He's one of my roundup he's one of my roundup topics. So I'm not going to go into full, what I think about him right now. But what I will say about Deuce is open shots, has minutes, has opportunity. His defense has been okay, good at times. His offense has been in the toilet. Absolutely terrible. He's not the only one. Cam Payne has some good moments. As many good moments as you can have by playing as many minutes as he does. But Deuce McBride has been an utter disappointment. We need an X factor off the bench. And we're missing our X factor because Deuce McBride is gone. Gone. Not even close to the player we thought we were going to get in the postseason. We need Deuce to rally and come back because without him, moving forward in this postseason is going to be moving forward in this postseason without him is going to be very tough. It's very tough in general to do anything in the postseason without a bench. And having 6 bench points with 3 players off of your bench, really 2 players off of your bench, 7.5 rotation here from Tom Thibodeau. It's going to be very difficult to try to win the games that you need to win, that you want to win, that you should win. And that is what the Knicks need to work on in the next few days as best as they can before they take on Boston. Bench scoring, team assist, unity, chemistry, and making sure they stay together as a team, even when they face adversity. And that may happen during the series. It may happen before the series. Everybody didn't even have the Knicks winning against the Pistons. That's how low they think of New York. Now, New York can go in 2 directions here. They can use that as motivation, which I think that they will, or they can listen to all of that and crumble for the noise. Or they can listen to all of that and crumble from the noise. I don't think that's going to happen. This team is way too strong. They've been through enough, and they've been here before. They're battle-tested, like I said before. So I fully believe this Knicks team is going to do everything in their power to come ready and locked in to take on Boston because they understand they did not fight this hard in this series just to go to Boston and not make it a series, not make it a game, not make it competitive. We are going to see that happen. But in order to have that happen, we're going to need players to step up. We saw Mikal step up, thankfully. We saw OG Anunoby step up, thankfully. We saw a number of players step up tonight, and I'm very happy to see that. There's another player on that list. I mentioned the bench, right? Talked about the bench, talked about the team assists, talked about Miles McBride a little bit, even though I'm going to get into him a little bit later, right? In terms of the roundup. There's another player I didn't mention tonight, really, right? I mentioned him once, but I didn't talk about him heavy. There's a reason I didn't talk about him. I didn't really even mention him in terms of all the things he did for us tonight. But I'm going to mention him now. Karl-Anthony Towns, 37 minutes, 4 of 10, put up 10 shots today, 10, 0 of 1 from 3, 15 rebounds, 2 assists, 6 fouls, and again, he had 10 points. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. It's a closeout game, and Karl-Anthony Towns cannot be found. Now, it's twofold here, right? Some of it had to do with other players going off and Towns recognizing that and allowing those hot hands to go off. That's part of it. However, the other part is some of the time, the Knicks are not finding him, getting him the ball, or getting him the ball in his spots. That's another part. Tom Thibodeau needs to make sure that Karl-Anthony Towns is getting the ball in his spots where he feels comfortable so he can cook. Now going back to Towns, you're an all-star. The Knicks are down, and the Knicks are down, and you really can't pick up any fouls, and we need your offense. And he really does not come to play tonight. 10 points on 10 shots, and you're an all-star for this team. I know he grabbed 15 boards, so I'm happy he did that. I'm happy he was able to hit the boards, able to help the Knicks in that regard, so he wasn't completely useless out there. It wasn't like he did nothing out there, right? He actually went into the game and did something. He didn't score as much as we wanted him to, but he scored. And when he couldn't score, at least he was trying to rebound and get those boards. He wasn't useless out there. That's why Tom Thibodeau played him so many minutes. And also, you never know with Karl-Anthony Towns. Maybe he can go off at any time and give you a lot of buckets and some points. But right now, at this point, what we saw from this closeout game from Towns, it was a little concerning. You know what? It was a little concerning. You never want to see that from your all-star. You never want to see that from Karl-Anthony Towns in a closeout game. That type of performance, it's just not acceptable at this level. Not in the postseason, not when you are an all-star, and not when you are one of the key players for this team. You need to generate more offense for yourself, and you need to make sure you have more of an impact. If Towns is able to go off more in this game, I truthfully believe this Knicks team blows out Detroit. If Towns even gives you 10 more points, the Knicks blow out Detroit. That's all we needed. But we couldn't get it from him. But thankfully, we got it from Mikal, we got it from OG, and we got it from the captain, Jalen Brunson. Very, very happy about tonight's win, even though it came down to the wire. I wasn't happy for each and every quarter, and obviously, I know this Knicks team needs work. We can break all of that down in other videos if you want. But the main takeaway here, the main absolute takeaway here is that New York wins this series. We are now moving on to the next round. We will now be taking on the Boston Celtics. And now we have a chance to send another message to the league. They doubted us against the Detroit Pistons. They picked against us. They thought we couldn't do it. Now, they're not saying a thing. They can't say a thing. They're quiet. They're counting us out against Boston too. And I understand why. Boston has beat us during the regular season. They look like one of the best teams in the postseason. And they're a very, very hard team to beat. Last time I checked, hard doesn't mean impossible. Last time I checked, we have Captain Clutch on our team. Last time I checked, we just played the most physical series in the postseason. And all of that matters. All of that is going to help this team go to another level. In order for New York to beat Boston and move on to the Eastern Conference Finals, they're going to need to take their game collectively as a team to another level. Jaylen has it in him. I think this entire team has it in them. They just need to be pushed there. And this series against the Pistons did just that. It pushed New York in the right way. Now we are the right team, the built team that we need to be. This is the team, this team that has been put through this physical series against the Pistons. This team that we constructed in a way to go up against the Boston Celtics is starting to gain chemistry and consistency. And that is all you need to beat a very good team like Boston. You want to count us out? That's fine. You can count us out. I'm not doing that. I refuse. I think on any given night, any team can beat another team. And it's when, any team can beat any other team on any given night. And even during situations like this, where the Knicks are the underdogs, it doesn't mean that we're down and out. It just means that everybody thinks the road ahead is going to be a little bit more tough for us. But that doesn't matter. When you have a player like Jalen Brunson on your team, even the impossible feels possible. The Knicks are going to do everything in their power to take down Boston in the second round and move on to the Eastern Conference Finals. I know it sounds crazy. I know it doesn't sound real, but I don't care. Sometimes things that you believe in, they sound like a dream until you make it happen. And then your dreams become reality. And that is what, your dreams can come. I can't even speak right now. I'm so hyped. Your dreams can become reality. And I think that's exactly what's waiting for New York in the second round if they can lock in and become that team I know they can be. This Knicks team can get it done. Mark my words. All they need to do is lock in and be that team that can operate on that next level. We saw it during the first quarter. We saw it during the third quarter. If the Knicks can be that team for 48 minutes, I promise you, this series against Boston will absolutely not be a sweep. It will be anybody's series because this Knicks team is extremely hard to beat when we are moving ourselves, moving the ball, and Jalen, Mikal, OG are aggressive, hot to start the game, and their ability to get inside the paint and score is on another level. We can get it. We can see it. Do you see the vision, Knicks fans? Do you see what I see? Because I see an extremely competitive matchup coming into the second round of this postseason, courtesy of the Knicks and the Celtics. But I am so happy that New York was able to take this game, win this series, and now we're going back home to MSG to rest. We need these rest days because our guys are banged up. They are dealing with so many injuries. So resting for a few days before we take on Boston is exactly what we need. Hopefully, the Knicks are as healthy as possible, dealing with not even any lingering injuries coming into game one against Boston this Monday, because that's exactly what the Knicks are going to need, the roster they're going to have in order to have a shot against Boston. Any injuries to this Knicks team is going to hurt our chances. Being fully healthy is a must. This is the end of the post-game show, though, guys. I appreciate you guys staying with me and tuning in as well, too. Like I always do, I'm going to jump right into the chat. I'm going to get your comments. If you guys have any topics for my closing show topics, I call it the Roundup show. Let me know exactly what you want me to talk about. I'll add it to my list, and I'll go ahead and break down some of those things if I have any information about them. If I don't, I might just say that, but you know, I appreciate you guys. Okay, let's see here. Ross Ranger says, I hope you're right. Trust me, we will. Fact, a source seems like a good kid, unlike Sleazy and I'm not going to say what you call them, PRS, but I understand what you're talking about. Nelly Nell says, facts, Troy. They have to lock in and focus on moving and protecting the rock. PRS says, big time facts. David says, I'm relieved the Knicks won this series. It was a war, and now they got to come prepared to beat the Celtics. One thing that impressed me with the Knicks was the free throw shooting. Yeah, and the way they got to the line, how aggressive they were, the fact that they were hitting a lot of their free throws, very, very impressive. Excuse me. Ja says, Brunson crossed over a sore like how MJ crossed over Byron Russell in 98. Somebody else referenced MJ earlier in the stream, actually. You know, I think this was Brunson's own moment. I'm not going to compare it to those greats, but I do think he had a moment himself during this series. Let me see here. PRS says, sorry, bro. Nah, you don't got to worry. You're a member, bro. You're a member. You don't got to be sorry about nothing, my brother. Let's see here. David says, but I'm worried about one thing. 8-man rotation. There's nobody else Thibs trust, really? It was 7.5, 7.5. If anybody doesn't know what David is talking about, we broke down what the minutes were, what the breakdown was in terms of the roster. And as you see here, I mean, the New York Knicks played 8 players today. Really, 7.5 when you look at the minutes breakdown, because Cam Payne only played 6 minutes. I thought we would see more Shamet during this series. I thought we would at least see Precious Achiuwa for a few minutes. They both have become situational, and if they didn't play this series, I'd be shocked if they played against Boston. Unless an injury or something happened, I would be pretty shocked if they played during that series. Nelly Nell says, can we please put some respect on Mikal's name? Thanks. Yeah, we need to. Matter of fact, just because you said that, Mikal Bridges again tonight, ladies and gentlemen. 25 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 11 of 16 from the field. He was aggressive. He was attacking. He was getting to the free throw line. He was hitting his threes. He was the one that got that tip in to go in that helped us tie the game. Don't forget, you can't forget what Mikal Bridges is. There is no game-winning shot if there's no Mikal Bridges tip in. Shout out to Nelly for making sure we highlight that. Jay, my brother, appreciate you. Oh, yeah, and Jay, my guy, man, I can't forget you. Jay is always so giving, always giving out memberships or whatever you can even think of to the chat. I got to highlight. You know what? I'm not even going to highlight Jay. I'm going to do something else for Jay. I don't even know why I didn't do this before. I should have done this so long ago. Don't know why I didn't do it, actually. Give me a second. 1 second. There we go. 1 second. And there we go. As I say, he still does some more great things. He's giving more memberships out. This is why I love this community and I love this chat. And by the way, Jay, just because you're just so helpful to the community that we're building here, I just made you a moderator of the channel. Now you join Yuri as well, too. You are a moderator. So feel free. If anybody is trashing the Knicks, you don't like what they're saying, you are a moderator. You get to kick them out. I can't allow you to be so nice, so giving to the channel without giving a little bit of this back to you. You deserve this, my man, and I really do appreciate it. He's giving out memberships. He's giving out confidence. He's giving out information, and he's supporting the channel. The least I can do is give him a moderator position. You don't even have to say thank you, my brother. Thank you for joining the stream and always allowing me to be your source for Knicks content. That means a lot to me, not only for him, but for all you guys watching the show. I don't have a show without you guys. I am very much aware of that. Jay is ridiculous, man. Jay has not stopped. I think Jay has purchased over 20 memberships during this stream alone. Shout out to everybody. If you received a membership from Jay, make sure you give that man a like, you give that man a follow, and you drop some hearts in the chat right now. Hearts in the chat for Jay. He is going off. Come on now, man. This is community. This is community building, man. Jay is on another level. Shout out to you, Jay, my guy, man. I appreciate you. I really, really do. And shout out to the chat. You guys already know what it is. Like I said, the post game is basically done at this point, but I'm chatting with you guys. I'm engaging with you guys because I love this. As much as you guys love this, I love this. And I love breaking down all the key moments with you guys, breaking down the quarter-to-quarter breakdown, all these other things. I'm actually going to start going, Jay is out of control. My goodness, Jay. Jay is on another level. Thank you, Jay. Everybody say thank you, Jay. Everybody say thank you, Jay. You got to, because Jay is going off right now. Jay, thank you, my guy, man. You are giving so many memberships to everybody in here. The chat is being blessed. You better tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to get in here because it is popping off right now. All courtesy of Jay, my guy. Thank you so much, man. He is bringing the house down. Jay is being Mr. Captain Clutch as we speak. I might have to call him JB. And we love you back, Jay. Jay said to everybody, we love you. And we love you, Jay. Not only for your kindness, but also for your Knicks fandom, my brother. Hearts in the chat. Come on, man. Hearts in the chat for Jay. Fill this chat with so many hearts. He deserves each and every one of them, man. Each and every one. If you want to know who the chat MVP is tonight, that belongs to our moderator, our newest moderator, Jay. My guy is on point. Yes, Jay, you're JB because you're coming in clutch. You're coming in clutch right now, my brother. That's why. And, you know, it says J Beers, JB. Actually kind of fits, so might have to refer to you as JB from moving forward. But thank you, my guy. You never have to do this. I never ask anybody to do this, so don't think you have to do this. But anytime it is done, it is appreciated. I always acknowledge it, and I'm thankful for it. It helps the channel, it helps the community, and it helps everybody watching. Thank you so much again. The community is strong. And again, if you guys want to be a channel member, you can go ahead, hit that join button, and you can become a channel member as well, too. Members get exclusive, members get exclusive perks to so many things. I drop exclusive content there. I'm bringing back giveaways over there. And I'm probably, don't quote me on this, but I'm going to do a poll with the members. And if they want, I'm probably going to do a live stream with members and members only monthly. And that stream is only going to be with me and the members shooting the breeze. That's it. And it's only going to be available for playback for those members. And we're going to go through a whole bunch of different things. It's going to be a way for us to get more of a one-on-one thing. I think I might actually invite members over Zoom as well, too. So that way we get even more engagement and interaction. I just want to give more back to the members because I really feel like you guys are the heart and soul of this channel as well. I love the subscribers as well, too. But the members, they have a very special place in my heart. So I want to give back to you guys a little bit more. I appreciate you. Yeah, Isaiah, definitely give some shout outs to Jay. He's amazing, man. I can't even tell you. I don't even know, Jay. I think I got to count 10, 20, at least 30. Is that right? I think at least 30 memberships. At least. JB is going nuts right now. I'm talking about JB in the chat. I have to probably differentiate. I'm going to have to call him JB in the chat from now on because it's going off. Appreciate you guys, though. And thank you guys a lot. Before I close out the show, because we've been running for a while here, and I definitely got to edit this video. I got so many edits to do, guys. I have edits to do for so many platforms and channels. So before I go tonight, I'm going to talk about a few topics tonight. Karl-Anthony Towns, Miles McBride, and the Celtics are going to be the topics that I talk about tonight. So those are the three that I have. If anybody wants me to talk about another topic for the roundup tonight, just leave the comment in the chat. Let me know what other topic you want me to talk about. I'll add it to the list and we'll break it down for tonight. I'll just wait because I know it's a little bit of a delay. So I'll wait for you guys to let me know what other topics you want me to cover. And then we're just going to go from there. Yeah, Jay gave 30 memberships tonight. He's off the he's out of control. In the best way possible, out of control. JB in the chat going off. Captain Clutch of the chat. Oh, I know. Me too, brother. Me too. What do you think my voice sounds like this for? It doesn't sound like this naturally. I just couldn't stop yelling at my TV. I was going crazy. Let's see here. Anything? Let's see here. Don't worry about it, Isaiah. You don't have to continue your membership afterwards. It's a gifted membership, so you didn't give anything for it. Once it expires, it's expired. You don't have to worry about it. But if you ever do want to come back because you enjoy the perks, you get to experience it for a little bit and you get to understand what it gets you, and then you can decide afterwards. But I appreciate you being so honest, man. Okay, so I don't see any other topics. So I appreciate the chat. I appreciate all you guys so much for joining the show today. So we're going to go to the roundup, which is the ending part of this show. Essentially, it's where I break down a few topics that I don't get to talk about a lot during the show, or not as much as I would like. Excuse me. Not as much as I would like. So I wait till the end of the show after speaking with you guys to get a little bit more information in about that. So let's go ahead and go through it. We're going to start with Karl-Anthony Towns. All-stars need to do all-star things. Now, he was great for us, amazing for us during this series, during certain stretches. But then we can also recall there were also certain parts of this series where he no-showed. Didn't have a great night, didn't put up a lot of shots, didn't hit a lot of shots, wasn't aggressive, wasn't attacking, and really looked small on the court. Now, against a Pistons team that is young and inexperienced, maybe we can get away with that for 1 or 2 games. But when you're going up against the super teams of the league, the Boston Celtics, the Cleveland Cavaliers, Oklahoma City, Denver Nuggets, when you're going up against those type of teams, you must be on point each and every game. You can't slip like that. You need to be able to contribute and have an impact somewhere on the floor. Now, Karl-Anthony Towns, during this Game 6 closeout from New York, even though he didn't really have it going offensively, he did still grab 15 rebounds. That was good. His defense was okay. He played all right defensively inside in the first quarter, I thought. But really, he got a lot of, but really, in that third quarter, I felt like he got taken advantage of because they were attacking inside, attacking him a lot, not letting him breathe really. And that was really the difference in that third quarter that made the Knicks try to turn it up and really respond. And then once they started doing that in the third, New York turned it up around the 9-minute mark and they continued to attack. And that's where they were able to take control of the game. But in the fourth, same exact thing again. They were attacking inside, getting around, finding cutters, finding shooters, or just attacking and getting to the line, getting foul calls. And Karl-Anthony Towns needs to understand when to be aggressive, when to back off, but more importantly than that, when to turn it up defensively, when you know you can turn it up, when you know you have a player in front of you and you're taller than that player and you really don't have to jump to block their shot. Wait for them to get into that motion. And then when you know it's coming, just push the ball out of the way. When you're playing down low, it's more about being smart when you're down low more than anything else. Karl-Anthony Towns needs to understand that what we saw during the regular season from him was an inside-outside game that was getting praised significantly. That's because he could fake the ball, drive, attack, slam, and get to the line. Or he could shoot the three and then become a threat from there. But it was because of his inside-outside game that he was so good. If he depends on one more than the other, and he never shows the other side, then he stops becoming that threat. He shot 1 3-pointer. Who is going to think he's a threat from three if he's not shooting threes? If he's not even looking to shoot the three? You need to be able to be a threat when you're on the court, and you need to be able to play to your strengths. If you're one of the best shooting big men in the game, you need to shoot more threes. You need to generate more open threes. You need to fake, drive, take contact, and go to the line. An aggressive Karl-Anthony Towns almost makes this Knicks team unstoppable because we know what Jalen Brunson's going to give us. And if he doesn't start out strong, we know in the fourth quarter, Captain Clutch will be there. But Karl-Anthony Towns, he needs to be that anchor for New York, especially in cases where Jalen Brunson is not going off, where he doesn't have it going on offense. Tonight, Jalen Brunson did have it going in the first quarter. So I can understand why Karl-Anthony Towns didn't do exactly what we wanted him to do. Didn't turn it up on offense because he saw the other players going off. But what was the excuse in the second quarter where the Knicks couldn't really score and we needed somebody else to have a bucket? Karl-Anthony Towns was in the game. We needed him to do more. We needed him to attack. We needed him to get to the line. But we really weren't seeing that a lot in the second quarter. Karl-Anthony Towns has that type of game that could give the Boston Celtics nightmares if he plays to his strengths. He's basically a version of Kristaps Porzingis, but more physical and able to take contact while driving and not going to get injured if he does that. With KP, if he drives aggressively and takes a lot of contact, he might hit the ground hard. And that for him could mean exiting the game, missing a few games because he's fragile. We all know that. We've seen it throughout the course of his career. If he takes even a little bit of contact, it could get him hurt. And that could not be good for the Boston Celtics. So I think with Karl-Anthony Towns, right now, the way to unlock him is not only by trying to find him and making sure you're utilizing him on the offensive end. It's also making sure you're running things for him. You're putting him in positions where he can succeed, and you're passing the ball to him. But you also talk to him and you let him know your game is also about getting inside and attacking, getting to the line, shooting open shots or generating open shots, not taking a three from the logo because you think you have it like that. That shouldn't be the three-point shot that you take. How about you take that shot if you're on a heater? If you're making multiple three-pointers, maybe you take that shot. And if you don't have the three going like that and you know that, then attack. Be aggressive. Use your size. Shoot over people. Do something to impact the game, especially on offense. He is too gifted. He is too good, too great of a player to not show up in a closeout game. 10 points in a closeout game, 10 shots in a closeout game. He is an all-star. He is our second all-star on this team. He really should be the second best player on this team. And he didn't come through when we needed him to. Honestly, the Knicks won game 6. Honestly, the Knicks won game 6 and close out that series in large part because of Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, and the captain, Jalen Brunson, Captain Clutch. Karl-Anthony Towns fouled out. He wasn't even part of the game during the final stretch when the game was on the line. It mattered, and we really needed him. Thankfully, it didn't matter because the Knicks were able to get the two main buckets that they needed from Mikal Bridges and Jalen Brunson. That was important, but it makes you look back at Towns. He cannot pick up early fouls or silly fouls. That can't happen. He needs to take the open shot when he has it. He needs to fake and drive. He needs to take contact. He needs to get to the line. He needs to make sure he's getting other players in foul trouble. And he needs to be smarter with his fouls. Don't reach in. Don't hit somebody when you don't even need to jump to block their shot. Because if you do that, you run the risk of running into them, and then they're going to blow the whistle against you. Play smart at times, especially when you're in there. You're a big man. Any contact that you make, they're going to think you're fouling somebody else, especially if the player that you're guarding is a star, if it's Cade Cunningham, or if it's somebody else at that star level, because they're always going to give the whistle to a big man that looks like they're hitting the other player. It might not even be true, but it can look like that. And in the postseason, even though they call things aggressively and physically, there's a balance. If they did so very aggressively in the first quarter, then a balance is going to happen in the second quarter. It's always like that. New York needs to realize that. And with Karl-Anthony Towns at this point, we've seen good games from him. We've seen very bad games from him. And this game 6 was extremely poor in terms of his performance. Offensively, did not have it. Rebounds, I'll give him that. Some possessions on defense, I'll give him. But I'm not going to give him more than that. And as an all-star on this team, we need more. It's on him, it's on Tom Thibodeau, and it's on this Knicks team. We need to pass the ball more. We need to get him involved more. We need to run plays for him more. We need to put him in positions where he's going to succeed. But he needs to be the all-star at the end of the day that demands the ball and does something with it. Because all-stars, that's what they do. You could even see Jalen Brunson demanding the ball in that fourth quarter. And even instinctively, everybody knew to give him the ball. But even though they knew that, he's still demanding the ball. So nobody has any doubt in terms of where that ball is going to go. In the same way that Jalen Brunson does that and has that confidence, I need to see that from Karl-Anthony Towns. That's what's missing. That and understanding when to turn it up and when to turn it off. If he can manage that just a little bit better, that might be able to unlock his game, because he's not going to be in early foul trouble, which means he's going to be able to stay on the floor longer and have an even greater impact no matter who he's playing with. And sometimes if that's not with Brunson, then he's going to be the main star on the floor that gets to go off. And we need to see Karl-Anthony Towns have a game like that where he gets to go off with Brunson off the floor and Brunson goes off with or without him on the floor. New York looks like that's the way they want their offense to work, because oftentimes we don't see Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson start together for the second quarter. It's normally Karl-Anthony Towns, one or two bench players, and the rest of them are starters. But those starters are not Jalen Brunson. The reason New York does that is to allow Karl-Anthony Towns the opportunity to score and do whatever he wants without Jalen Brunson being in there, because he commands the ball so much. And because of how good he is on offense, it's hard to ignore him. So I can understand why they do that. But if they're doing it, the Knicks need to take advantage of it. And Karl-Anthony Towns plays a major role in the Knicks taking advantage of it. It's something that I want to see moving forward, and it's something that I think can help New York be very competitive in this series against Boston. The other thing I want to talk about is the main thing. I'm not even going to put my keyboard down. I have no reason to even have it up. I'm going to go off in this one, just a warning. Our bench is horrible. I can name a few good moments from our bench. Great game 5 from Mitchell Robinson. A couple of games ago, Campaign had a great closing quarter for New York in terms of the fourth quarter. So I can give Campaign that. That's great. Some shots here or there from Deuce. That's cool. But other than that, the New York Knicks bench has been awful. The Knicks bench has been getting outscored each and every game. We don't put up enough points. We don't put up enough points. We don't generate enough scoring. And honestly, I don't feel like that second unit has a leader to lead them, to guide them, to make sure they're doing what they need to do when they're out there, which, by the way, is to stabilize the offense and defense so that way our starters get rest, our bench players get more playing time, and our bench players get more playing time, and then when our starters go back into the game, we're more fresh, we're more rested, and we don't have to worry about fatigue or being tired. That's why the bench is so important. But you can't blame Tom Thibodeau at times for not playing the bench, because when they're given minutes, oftentimes they don't do anything. And the biggest culprit of that is Miles McBride. Deuce has not been loose during this postseason. Deuce has been tied up in the backyard on a chain fence, and he can't get out. He's stuck there, trapped, and he has been locked there since the postseason started. Because I have not seen Deuce, not the Deuce that we need. We need a Deuce McBride who is on fire off the bench, instant offense, who can hit his threes, play great defense, and attack. We're getting the defense. We're not getting the attacking. We're certainly not getting the shooting. And his confidence is not there. Now, I know he's working on his game. Jalen Brunson did answer a question from the media before the game started about Deuce McBride, saying Deuce doesn't need anything. He works hard. I know how hard he works, and I know he's going to be ready for the moment. I don't think he's been ready for the moment, Jalen, but what I will say is that his defense has been good, but defense cannot be the only thing that you do when you come off the bench. You need to be able to give more. We need his offense. His instant offense can be a game changer from New York. And if he can't be able to give you that, then maybe New York needs to experiment with different bench lineups. Expand the bench a little bit. Maybe go to a Landry Shamet. Maybe go to a Precious Achiuwa. Maybe play Campaign a little bit more than you're playing him right now. There are adjustments and changes the Knicks can make and probably should make given the state of their bench and how Deuce McBride has been playing. It's not okay. Deuce McBride playing the way he has been is awful. It's hurt New York because we're not getting anything from our bench. It's causing the Knicks to have to play Jalen Brunson earlier and then have to play him more minutes. That's why I can't get mad at Tom Thibodeau for not utilizing all the players on his bench. Because when he does utilize some players off his bench, excuse me, I'm just so hyped right now. That's why I can't get at Tom Thibodeau for that. Because when he utilized some players off of his bench, sometimes they don't show up. They don't do anything. They don't have the impact that you need on offense or on defense. So you have to bench them for some other players, or you have to limit the rotation. The only thing I will say here is that if you don't have faith in Miles McBride anymore, if you don't have faith in Landry Shamet or in Campaign, then why not play Precious? Why not play anybody else that you might have more faith in that can help turn the tide of any series we're going in? Because that's helpful, making those adjustments and those changes. But I'm not going to fault Tom Thibodeau for not making an adjustment if when he made that adjustment before, it didn't yield to anything. Nothing on defense and nothing on offense. Oftentimes with Landry Shamet, even though he was making some plays, when he was out there, he was getting cooked on defense. Now, I don't think that warrants him being gone forever. I still think he needs to find playing time for this team because he's one of the best bench players we have off the bench in terms of his shooting. That used to be Deuce McBride. That used to be Campaign. But if you look at the numbers, at least to close out the regular season, that goes to right now Landry Shamet. And he's not playing any time. He's situational. Situational for Shamet, situational for Achiuwa, or playing 7.5 players. We need to expand the bench. We need to utilize more players. But if we utilize those players and they don't do anything and they don't have an impact, and Tom Thibodeau sees that, and throughout the game he understands in order for him to win the game, he's going to have to reduce the rotation and play 7.5 players, then that's the move he's going to make. And it's going to be very hard to argue with that move if things play out that way. But we don't know because he has not made the adjustment like that yet. We've seen some adjustments, but not a full expansion of a rotation, maybe even to 9 players. And that 9th player, if he does expand it, should be Landry Shamet, because we're going to need that 3-point shooting in the upcoming series that we go up against any team, whether that be the Boston Celtics, the Cleveland Cavaliers, whoever we face moving forward. The main thing is the way we generate threes, generate open threes, and hit those threes, convert on them, because that's going to be a game-changing because that is going to be a game-changing stat for New York. Our ability to hit threes and generate them. Generate open threes is going to be the most important thing. Boston can do it in their sleep with their bench players and their starting unit. So New York needs to be able to do that as well too. Hitting the open shot, hitting the open man, finding other players when they're cutting inside, cutting down low, or cutting to the corner and they're wide open. Even though we're going to rest for these next couple of days, we need to work on our chemistry as a team over these next couple of days as well too. It's going to be important going up against Boston. You don't beat a well-oiled machine like Boston unless you are building and working on your chemistry. They didn't just come together. They have been a team for years now. They are battle-tested as well too. They've been here before. They won a championship. We all understand that. They're going to be one of the toughest teams to beat. One of the toughest teams to beat. But you can't beat Boston without a bench. You can't beat Boston playing 7.5 players. You beat Boston by utilizing your bench, expanding your bench, and putting your starters in the best position to succeed. If New York checks all the boxes by doing that, this series against Boston will be highly competitive, and it can go either way. But we're going to need to see more from the bench, and we're going to need to see more from Deuce McBride. He is getting consistent minutes, significant minutes, more minutes than any other bench player on the bench right now. He needs to do more with them. If he's open, you shoot it. If you see a lane, you attack it. You play defense like you always have been, but you need to be more aggressive on offense as well too. It's something that I know New York can do if they continue to do this with Deuce McBride. But Deuce needs to get loose. He needs to be a little bit more active. So hopefully we can see that from New York. We can see this bench come out. We can see Deuce McBride get a game in the postseason, and finally see postseason McBride. We've been robbed of it. We have not seen Deuce McBride in the postseason for so many games now, and we're going to need it in this series against Boston. So Deuce, I really, really, really hope you can come out of your shell, break out, and have the best series of your life against Boston. We're going to need you, and we're going to need your help. Hopefully the Knicks bench and Deuce come alive in this next series. But it's going to be up to Tom Thibodeau to utilize the bench and utilize Deuce McBride a little bit more active and more actively and more on point, putting him in more positions to succeed. I think everybody understands that. Let's see here. What's the last topic I have here again? So it is the Celtics. Oh, you know what? It's the Celtics in the third quarter. So I want to speak about that really quickly. I want to make sure I have nothing else to say, though, about Deuce McBride here. Let's see. I told you guys he wasn't great. He needs to do better. Needs to operate better. The Knicks need to run more things for him, obviously. Need to keep his defense still the same. When he checks in, he needs to utilize his time and be impactful with his time. We all understand that from Deuce, and the bench needs to step up in a major way. That's how you beat Boston. But speaking of the Celtics, the other way you beat Boston, I don't even want to start with Boston. I want to start with the third quarter. The third quarter collapse for New York has been an absolutely real thing. We've all seen it. Third quarter comes, we can't score, we can't pass, it's turnovers, we can't defend, the other team's attacking inside, they're shooting wide open threes, They steal the lead if we had one. They take the lead, and we are trying to crawl back into the game in the fourth quarter. Sometimes we do. Oftentimes we do not. And we just didn't understand why. I couldn't understand why. Nobody on the Knicks could really give an answer unless you were Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges stated that when he was with Phoenix and that team went all the way to the NBA Finals, he had similar issues with that team coming out of halftime. So the way that team fixed it was that they got out of halftime a little bit earlier and they did a layup line. And this time around, for halftime in game 6, this Knicks team came out a little bit earlier and they did the layup line. Now, I don't know if it was because the Knicks had a really bad second quarter or they did the layup line. But either way, something worked and they had their best third quarter of this series by far. They were moving the ball. They were attacking. They were hitting their shots. They were getting to the line. They were aggressive. And the ball movement was extremely impressive. We were finding other players cutting, finding other players being open, and finding open looks, making the extra pass. That is how you win the third quarter, by not doing anything different than what you did in the first quarter to win it. And New York understood that at least after halftime. This third quarter issue, if the only thing New York has to do is continue to run layups, get out of halftime early, and do the layup line, if that's all it's going to take moving forward for them to have third quarters like this, third quarters where they drop 37 points, where they go off, where everything looks sensational, the ball movement, the scoring, the efficiency, everything that they're running, you can sign me up for that every single day. Do it. Run it all the time. Run it for the rest of the postseason and then next season. Run it then as well, too. During the regular season, during next year's postseason, forevermore, do this. If it's going to make this Knicks team if it's going to make this Knicks team look like that, look as aggressively as we saw them look, and be able to put it down on the other team, be able to score 37 points, look impressive while you do it, and get other people involved. If that's what's going to happen, as long as the Knicks run layups before the third quarter, then you do it for the rest of the postseason. Because hopefully that means no more third quarter of doom. And that brings me to my next point and my last point here. The Boston Celtics. With Boston, you're not beating the Boston Celtics at all if you can't hit your threes, if you're turning the ball over, if you have bad transition defense, and if you cannot play in the third quarter. You give up one quarter to Boston, you've lost the game in a blowout. They will annihilate any time you give them. So if you're giving them open threes, they're going to take it. You're giving them open space inside, they're going to take it. And that's what makes Boston so dangerous. I know everybody wants me to shout at the top of my lungs, Knicks in 6, Knicks got this, we're going to beat down Boston. I want that. Excuse me. I want that. I want the Knicks to beat Boston. I want the Knicks to destroy Boston. I hope the Knicks can beat Boston in 6 games. That would mean a lot. It would mean something to the entire league if the Knicks were able to close out Boston in 6 games. However, this series is going to be the most difficult series the Knicks have ever played thus far. Boston is tough. They pose the most difficult matchup They pose the most difficult matchup at each and every position more than any other team the Knicks are going to go up against. No matter what position you look at, the Boston Celtics, you could argue, have an edge at that position. The only other position that they don't, or that you can argue they won't, is Jalen Brunson at the point guard position. That's the only other position. And maybe center position with Karl-Anthony Towns, depending on who's out there. But other than that, position for position, they would likely have the better player. And then they have the better record. And then they know how to win at this stage. New York, we failed here a number of times. Everybody knows that. Everybody's seen that. Everybody is going to talk about that. But it does not mean that just because we failed here before, that we can't win here this time around. Boston is going to be a dogfight. It's going to be a very tough series. Not a physical series, a very tough series. But I think New York can give themselves the chance to win it if they play like they played tonight in the first quarter for 48 minutes. That Knicks team in the first quarter that we saw tonight in Game 6 against the Pistons can beat any team in the NBA, or at least go toe-to-toe with them if they play like that, because that is phenomenal basketball. No matter how you want to break it down, it is amazing to watch. But the Boston Celtics, they also play great basketball. They move the ball extremely well. They play great defense. They hit their open shots. But the worst thing that they do, which is really a main problem for New York, they figure out what you're doing, and then they do the opposite. Oh, you don't want me to take any threes? All right, I'm going to attack inside, because clearly that's what you're going to leave open. Oh, you want me to attack inside? So clearly you're going to leave me open from three. I'm just going to attack there. They're very, very well coached, and they know how to play the game extremely well. They have been doing that to us all regular season. And even though the postseason is a different animal entirely, we do have to recall what happened and at least use it as a basis to understand what the future is going to hold. And what that future is a very tough series. But I believe this Knicks team can close it out if, and I keep saying this because it's true, I do believe this Knicks team can close it out if they play the way they played tonight for 48 minutes, especially that first quarter. It is going to be up to this Knicks team to lock in, focus, and make sure the next round is a round that is highly competitive and not a sweep. Everyone doubted us and counted us out. Nobody thought we could win any series, but we keep on proving people wrong. I think, for what it's worth, for this Knicks team, I think we're going to continue to prove people wrong when we face the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference semifinals. I truly believe it. This is going to be a competitive series, and New York has what it takes. It's not going to be easy. Everybody is going to doubt us. Nobody is going to choose us. Nobody's going to think that the Knicks are going to have this series sewed up, but that's okay. I don't need anybody cheering for the Knicks. I don't need anybody joining this side. You want to go against the Knicks? Go against us. You want to choose Boston? You can choose Boston. I don't mind it, because we all know this Knicks team is not going to lie down in the second round. We have been here before. It's in our nightmares. That's why we're going to play harder than we've ever played before in this second round against the Boston Celtics. We are going to make it competitive. We are going to leave everything out there. And at the end of this series, win or lose, you are going to remember this Knicks team. You are going to remember what we did. And you are going to remember that Boston was put through hell throughout that entire series, because that is waiting for them when they face the Knicks. I absolutely believe that. But I appreciate you guys sticking in with all of the topics that we had to talk about tonight in the Roundup segment. I appreciate you guys sticking with us, tuning in, and keeping it locked here for this post-game show. But that really is going to do it for this episode now. I appreciate you guys in the chat gang. I appreciate Knicks Nation always tuning in, always coming here to support me and support everything I have going on. Even though I don't respond to every comment, because I get a lot of them, I see you guys. I understand you guys, and I really do respect you. But like I said to start the show, the New York Knicks, New York, we here. We absolutely are. We are here. We have defeated the Pistons, beat them in 4 games. Knicks in 6. We take this series. We don't have to go back to MSG for a game 7. We only have to go there to rest and recover and get ready for Boston. Credit to the Pistons. They came to play. They made this series physical, tough, and they pushed the Knicks. And we needed that push from a very physical team. The Pistons, they were up for the challenge, and they pushed us. And I'm very grateful that they did, because now we're an even tougher team because of it as we move on in the postseason. But Detroit is now over with. They talked a lot of trash. They said a lot of things, but New York didn't say anything. They let their actions on the court speak for them. JB did that. Mikal did that. OG Anunoby did that. Karl-Anthony Towns at times, can't even speak right now. Karl-Anthony Towns at times did that as well too. Every player had their time to shine. Every player had their opportunity to go off in this series. New York takes this series. We move on to the next round, and now we're facing the Boston Celtics. You can count us out. You can say we don't have a chance. You can say the Boston Celtics are already going to the Eastern Conference Finals. If that's the energy that you have, if you're on that side, if you don't believe, then I don't want you on this side. Stay over there. Stay on that side. You didn't believe when the Knicks were taking on the Pistons, and the Knicks proved everybody wrong. With this Boston Celtics series, I only need positivity on this side. I know it's going to be tough. I know it's going to be hard. I know it's not going to be easy. I know that Boston is the hardest team for the Knicks to face up against. They present the hardest matchup. They present the hardest matchup for any other team that the Knicks would face off against in this playoff matchup. I understand that. But even though that's the case, I still believe we have Jalen Brunson. We have Karl-Anthony Towns. We have Wingstop. We have the talent on this team to make the Boston Celtics' life miserable, to make each and every game close and competitive. And that's all you can ask for. Because if the games are close and you have Captain Clutch available, maybe he's the difference in the Knicks winning those close games. And that is the position I see New York putting themselves in. We have the talent. We have the roster. We have the superstars. And everybody is doubting us. Everybody is saying we can't do it. Further adding to our motivation and that growing chip on our shoulders. New York or nothing. New York over anything. New York forever. New York is here. We're not going anywhere. And if you want us out of the postseason, if you don't want to deal with us, if you don't want to deal with us over a 7-game series, then you better come in to each and every game locked in and trying to take us down. Because if you don't bring your A game and we bring our A game, which we're going to do every game, we're going to give ourselves a chance to steal a game for you guys, take the game, and make sure we have a series on our hands. Don't have a chance? We're not good enough? We're not a championship contender? Okay, keep talking. The Pistons talked, and where are they right now? You want to keep talking? Keep on talking. I'll keep listening and writing all these receipts down. But just know, when it comes to game 1 of the postseason, the semifinals against the Boston Celtics, anything can happen. And when I say anything, I mean anything. I don't care if you doubt us. I don't care if you're on that side. You don't have to believe. New York, this Knicks team, that locker room, we believe enough for everybody. And we're bringing all of this energy, all of this belief to game 1 of the semifinals against the Boston Celtics. Can you handle it? Can you deal with it? Can you take the Knicks on, take us out, and move on to the Eastern Conference Finals? We'll see. We'll see in game 1. Good luck to, well, you know what? No good luck to Boston. You had enough luck. You're done. I'm good with that. New York or nothing. We are here. We are built for this, and we are always going to stay here. You want us gone? You want a war? You want to eliminate us? Good luck to Boston. It is going to be a war. It is going to be tough, and you are going to have your hands full with this Knicks team. You're not going to be able to take it from us. I promise you. Try as much as you can. It is going to be a tough battle and a tough series for Boston. But what about you guys? What do you think about the Knicks taking this game against the Pistons 116 to 113? And this series now ends with the Knicks winning this series 4-2. Again, final score for New York, 116 to 113, and the Knicks steal this series 4-2. And now New York moves on. They advance to the second round, and now our next matchup is against the Boston Celtics. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a war, but we just went through a war, and we proved we can come out of a war battle-tested and an even better team, which we are. And now we're going to utilize everything we learned, the team that we just turned into after this physical series, and we're going to take all of that right to Boston and see if they can handle it, see if they can take this Knicks team on, and see if they can eliminate us. And right now, I have full belief that New York will make this a series, a highly competitive series against the Boston Celtics. But what about you guys? What do you think about the Knicks closing out the Pistons in 6? Let me know in the comments section below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below, and of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans, take care of yourself, your families, and each other. Peace and love.